I get down to Southampton yesterday, stood in the taxi queue, got in a taxi, and only realised as I was pulling out, Graham, that I was joined by Derek, who is a Newcastle United fan who was sitting in the front. You don't mind, Jim, dropping me at the pub and the wait isn't there, he's doing. And I had no choice in the matter, but Derek, it turns out that you're the Toon Army poster he sends his best to you, Simon. He's in touch with us a lot. Dropped him at the pub, carried on to St Mary's, and thereafter watched the game. Newcastle ran away with it. 4-1 winners. Newcastle now third in the Premier League. What can they achieve this season? That is a big question. They took Southampton apart by 4-1. Simon, it's 1 year, as I said there with Eddie, during that chat since he got the job. He was, and it was widely publicised at the time, second choice behind Unai Emery, who rejected the Newcastle board.
Yep.
So the story could have been a different one, couldn't it?
It could have been. I'm not entirely sure that he rejected the Newcastle board. In fact, he was very much involved with wanting to get the job. I think his chairman at Villarreal sat him down and said, gave him a few facts of life about his contract and put him in and then put a release clause in there, which is why Villa were able to pull him out of his contract and pay Villarreal a compensation fee. Look, there's no doubt that Newcastle have momentum at this moment in time. It's no doubt that everything is going in the right direction. They've made a lot of sensible decisions. They've made a lot of wise moves in terms of who they put behind the scenes. I was a little bit reticent about Eddie Howe and his ability to be able to overcome certain obstacles, because I felt that he had stepped away from the Celtic job and lacked a bit of courage to do that. But looking at what he's done over the last 12 months, it's difficult to argue with anything that he's done. Now, whether that translates into a consistent outlook for the rest of the season is a different matter, because I think my bet for top six is shaky. I do. And I accept that.
Do you want to cash out?
I might take a cash out.
Yeah,
okay.
But
I do think that it might be a bit previous to suggest that Newcastle are a shoe-in for the top four, because there's many a slip twixt cup and lip, and you've got big teams in there with big managers that have got big players that will regain their poise after this World Cup. So if Newcastle do make the top four, which is, I think, going to be a stretch, but if they do and carry this momentum forward for the entire season, then what a platform they've given themselves. But also, I don't care if they don't like it, what a set of expectations Eddie will have now on his shoulders.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Graham, there's a transfer window coming up after Qatar, and you look at it there this morning, and the third. So, Arsenal, City behind Arsenal. So that one would presume may change, knowing Manchester City and knowing Pep, but it might not. And Newcastle bringing up the rear. Who's to say it doesn't come down to these three?
You can't. I mean, Chelsea are obviously not right. I know that it's the last couple of games they've lost, but for me, they're not right. Spending 200 million on arguably three centre backs, Cucurella can do another job at a time when Lukaku hasn't worked out for you, and you take Aubameyang at 35 or whatever it is.
Tottenham know how to lose. United know how to lose.
I think Spurs would be a danger to them. I think Liverpool do not write Liverpool out of it, because Liverpool is a hard place to get a result, even when Liverpool are not at it. But Liverpool, with the support and the way they get behind them and the demands they put on their team, especially at home, they'll be back. They'll finish in the top four for me. So I think there's two obvious ones. I think that was about Chelsea. I think Spurs. I like what the manager does there. I think there's they have a really good group of players.
Yeah.
But going back to Newcastle, I think Eddie was correct. I don't think they were the best yesterday, but they won at a canter. They were playing a team that were dispirited.
And they're now not used to losing.
But they're playing with a confidence, and they're expecting to win. I don't think, there's not a doubt in their heads now when they take the field they're not going to win the game. And it's not about yesterday for me. It's about what they did at Spurs and what they did at Liverpool. They've gone to two of the big guys and said, we're going to take you on at your game. And they're more than a match for them.
Yeah. Newcastle fans down there in big numbers as well. Arsenal just lost one, City lost one, Newcastle lost one.
At this moment in time, they were an irresistible force.
Yeah.
But you know what happens to an irresistible force. In the end, it meets an immovable object. And we'll see when that time comes. But at this moment in time, they're a delight to watch, and I'm pleased for them. I'm pleased that they've got. I'm not pleased for the ownership, because I don't like the ownership model, and I don't care who doesn't like that. But I am pleased for the fans. I am pleased for Eddie Howe, and I'm pleased for players like Kieran Trippier. I make observations about he came for the money, and I do believe that too. If there wasn't a bag of money there alongside a longer-term contract and perhaps a view, then he wouldn't have come. But notwithstanding that, the performance of these players you know, and the outcomes that they're delivering are to be revered.
Yeah.
We will see. We're 13 games into a season. We'll see.
We'll see.
You know, when the tie goes out, we'll see whose shorts are up and down.
Exactly. That's one way of looking at it.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.